Oh boy, at time of recording this I am behind on actually putting the stuff up because man, the midweek stuff demotivated me even a lot here. That's how rough it's been. It's like I can't even talk properly off it. Regardless, hello. This is, of course, if you have not seen me before, it's Gaming Out. I don't know why you'd be here if you hadn't. Doesn't matter. We have Secret Wonders as our thing for today, and our two different decks we'll be playing, one of which is Gardevoir because of the Guardian Mirror stuff. That is pretty much the best deck of the format, and we didn't really find much beyond that. We didn't really play much with it either, to be fair. Like, there are some decks which are being used otherwise, but I don't know. I think we got messed up by this in the middle of the week. That really just ruined everything. But I have one deck that's using the stuff that way, one that does not, and should be at least interesting. I don't think this deck is super good, but it's at least pretty streamlined, and it does flow very well if you do get to use your powers, which hopefully Cessation Crystals hit last time round is enough. Honestly, if Gardevoir comes in with the same, then it's probably an uphill battle. Depends how well you've been established. But let's talk about why that would even be. Gardevoir has just about the complete package here. The only thing that it's missing is a high damage output on its attack, but it's usually enough against a lot of decks where it's not actually that bad. So it has only 110 HP, which is a little bit low for a stage 2 at this point of the game. Gardevoir just doesn't have a lot of HP most of the time. Telepass is ridiculous. Once during your turn before you attack, search your opponent's discard for a supporter card and use the effect of that card as the effect of this power. You do still need to effectively pay cost, that's not actually a thing for supporters, but say Bebe Search, you would have to still put a card back into the deck. Steven's Advice, you would still have to have less than 7 cards in hand to do. But yeah, you get a second supporter card to use, which is based on the opponent's stuff. It also has Psychic Lock as its attack. 1 Psychic, 2 colorless, only 60 damage. This is the low point of the card, but it stops the opponent from using any Poké Powers next turn, which is just silly. All kinds of stupid on this one. So yeah, it's really irritating. It also has a level X, which granted puts its weakness at ×2, but that's generally okay because you play Lake Boundary to make your weakness ×2 anyway. Mostly for the mirror match, but also just in general some psychic weak things crop up. Teleportation is a really good ability. You either choose one of your actives or one of your bench and switch it with Gardevoir. So wherever Gardevoir is, if it's in the active, you can just switch it to one of your bench at will. If it's on the bench, you switch it with your active at will, which is really good. Then Bring Down for 2 Psychic Energy, so a little bit cheaper than this, also works well with double Rainbow Energy here. Choose one Pokemon with the fewest HP remaining in play, excluding Gardevoir, and KO that Pokemon. This obviously can be played around, and the opponent will try and get sneaky with the stuff here, but you can engineer this so that you knock out one of their main things that's like switched out to the bench or something, and yeah, it gets really irritating. The line itself is still really good otherwise as well though. Curlier is a fantastic card here as well for 1 Psychic Energy, search your discard for a supporter and use the effect as this attack here. So that obviously is good for your own setup too, that's why we play 2 of it here. We're playing 2 different routes because this one, Hypnosis is fine, but it's largely a mirror finisher. Psychic Boom does 10 damage times the number of energy attached to defending Pokemon, so this can be pretty good at sniping other Gardevoir and Gallade and such. 1 energy, 60 damage is pretty solid obviously, so we have that. But then this one has a lesser weakness to Psychic, so it doesn't die to the exact same things, and Confuse Ray can sometimes be more annoying. I'd rather go for the Hypnosis, but you know, it's this one's got 60 HP too, so it survives better, so there is that. There is another Pokemon in the line, however, which is generally the better finishing attacker here in Gallade, which has 130 HP, same 30 weakness to Psychic. It's on a fighting type though, so it's a different type that you're hitting for weakness, and 2 really good attacks here. Sonic Blade for a double Rainbow Energy, as it is in this deck. Put damage counters on defending Pokemon until they have 50 HP left, and when you do that, the opponent switches it with one of their bench. So this sets it up perfectly for Psychic Cut, which even with a double Rainbow Energy does 50 damage base, but 60 normally. and that's for Psychic, double colorless, same cost as the Gardevoir, and you can flip any number of your face down prize cards face up when you do this attack. For each one you flip up, it does 60 plus 20. So this obviously scales up extremely quickly. Reveal 2 prizes to 100 is just really good. Obviously you can go further than that if you need to, and you might need to, but this also then means you know what your face up prize cards are, and you could do tons of really good stuff with that. The rest of it is largely support, but also the starter of choice here is the Absol, because this card is literally broken. If you are remotely lucky, or the opponent is just remotely unlucky and they don't start more than one supporter card, this card wins the game on the first turn. Any energy, choose a card from the opponent's hand without looking and discard that card. If you discarded a trainer, supporter, or stadium card, discard a second card as well. Just yikes. Normally this was played with Cessation Crystals in other decks to really stunt the opponent from being able to do anything to like catch up afterwards as well, but it's just absolutely gross, to be honest. And yeah, not fun. Raid is an interesting attack, at least 10 damage for 1 dark, but if you've played Absol this turn, it does 40 instead of 10. That might actually come up in this deck, and I do have a basic dark energy in the deck as a result. We'll go into why as we go forward here. Otherwise, there's a 1-1 line of the Milotic. I've tried a few different things in here. I've tried the 3-2 Forest line was the initial thing, to 0 energy, search your deck for 2 cards as an attack. That was pretty cool, but it was a little bit slow against the enemy disruption stuff. I've tried Weavile, which for 0 energy searches your deck for darkness energy and puts it on Pokemon. I think that does a lot better once double Rainbow and Scramble energy rotate, because right now I just don't have the space to put a ton of stuff in that way. It can fix the damage math though, so maybe there's a better way of building the deck that I just haven't quite gotten to, but I found it was bricking just a little bit more than it would like to, so I'm not using that one here, but instead we're using the Milotic, so we potentially get a 3rd supporter every turn. Once during the turn before you attack, look at the opponent's hand, use the effect of a supporter you find there. So if they're not playing supporters to play around your Gardevoir Telepass, they have them in their hand, and you can steal them with the Milotic instead, which is just super obnoxious. So, damned if they do, damned if they don't. The Phoebus itself is like terrible. It's level 4, what do you expect? But 30 HP on a level 4 is insane though. That's like Pokemon Let's Go tier of silly, right? What we're here for though is fast evolution. For 1 water energy, search your deck for an evolution card, put it into your hand. I do play the basic water as a result here as well. As you've noticed, our attacks don't exactly take a bunch of colored energy here for the most part, so you can get away with playing these like tech energy here as well. We have Roseanne's research that we'll get to in a sec to help out with that too. As far as the rest of it, Taurus is here to discard Crystal Beach out of play. I've chosen to remove the Windstorm since we don't have Cessation Crystal in the format at the moment, and therefore we don't need to worry quite so much about that. But this deck has 7 energy which get hit by Crystal Beach, so between this and our 2 counter stadiums we should be okay there. And Jolteon Star is a mirror tech if you do get to play it, where you can bench it and put the damage counter on both active Pokemon, which then makes your double damage Psychic Lock actually able to do 120, and that will be fine. So that's the general idea with that. As far as the trainers go, there are a decent number of supporters in here. I've upped the supporter count a little bit because we don't have the likes of Claydol yet, or I'm not using the Furret. So we have our pretty standard here, 4 Celios Network searches every card in the deck, Pokemon-wise. Roseanne's Research searches up to 2 in combination of basic Pokemon and basic energy, so this obviously gets your starter plays going, but even late game this can get you basic Psychic out of the deck, but it also gets your tech energies in case you start with like an Absol or you want to raid, or you can actually just search Absol Dark Energy and get raid going that way. Or if you happen to start the Phoebus, you're able to search for an evolution card using this as well, so it's pretty useful. Free Steven's advice, the opponent is likely going to need to end up benching quite a few things here to keep up, so Stevens is really good. And Free Galactic's Wager, because we can steal the opponent's supporter cards whenever we want, so we can just max disrupt them, and if we do win the wager, they only have 3 cards, that's probably game over anyway. 2 late boundary and 1 strength charm rounds out the stuff here. Strength charm, once again, a good mirror tech here. Not playing the castaway engine and such to grab it here. Maybe that is something that could be played, but I opted for the Tauros and a little bit more energy as well here. 16 energy is a lot, but it does kind of make sense with the stuff. 1 dark, 1 water, what is this, 7 psychic, so it's like 9 regular energy, and then 4 double rainbow, 2 scramble. DRE makes it so that you only do 50 damage, but is really, really good with Gallade especially, so it is definitely worth the slot. As far as the other deck today, it is the so-called Hurricane deck, which is a combination of Feraligatr, Delcatty, and Magneton. So, we know the Delcatty Magneton engine from all the way back in the Dragon set. This is from Power Keepers, this is the reprint stuff here. Delcatty lets you discard any energy card once per turn and draw up to 3 cards out of your deck. Magneton discards any 1 card out of your hand and gets 2 basic energy out of your discard pile once per turn. So the idea is you stack a bunch of energy in your hand for Feraligatr's powerful Energy Cyclone attack for 2 water energy. Choose as many energy from your hand as you like, show them to the opponent, do 20 damage for each one you showed, and put those energy back on top of the deck. Shuffle it afterwards. So your goal is to get your deck full of just energy, and then you energy draw every single turn and just get a bunch of stuff so you can be doing 80 to 120 plus damage with this thing every turn. Breaking Tail is also really good still though. 1 water, 2 colorless, so discard a card from the opponent's hand and do 60 at the same time, so generally pretty strong there as well. Otherwise, the only other Pokemon we have in here is 1 Plusle. This, if your opponent KOs you, or KO'd a Pokemon last turn on your side, is just Magneton without the discard. And playing this because it's a basic, it takes up 1 less slot in the deck, and also it still gives you the stuff without discarding. It's pretty good. As far as the trainers go here, because I need about 17 energy in this deck, it's very difficult to really play this with less. Yeah, you don't have a ton of space. I should also mention the Croconaw real quick as well. The reason we're playing a heavy Croconaw line instead of just a 4 rare candy here is because of this Pokepower. When you evolve into Croconaw, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, any energy that you find there gets shown to the opponent and put into your hand. So this lets you keep going with your attaches and stuff, and even late game, if you evolve into this after shuffling like 6 energy back into your deck, you're probably going to draw a lot of those energy again with this power. So very, very good thing to have around. Alright, as far as the trainers go, again, for Celio, for Roseanne is going to be standard until Celio rotates here. Maybe Bebe Search comes in a little bit too, but that's usually as an addition here. Yeah, Roseanne has double duty in this deck as well though, because late game it can search for 2 energy and just add to your pool, so really good. Other supporters, just 2 Stevens of Ice and 4 TV Reporter. TV Reporter is pretty good here because you can just recover the energy that you would discard with it, so it's not too bad. And then as far as the regular trainers, 1 Night Maintenance to shuffle the Pokemon back into the deck, 2 Time Space Distortion to try and get them back into the hand instead. I do still want Night Maintenance in here because this is a flippy attack and that's flippy effect even, that's kind of rough. 1 Warp Point, 2 Rare Candy. Sometimes we do want to go straight into Feraligatr because it can attack with a double Rainbow Energy, which is really good. And then I've only managed to fit 2 Pokedex Handies in here. Initially had 4, it's just been very hard to keep space when you need this many energy as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this deck actually does something somewhat cool, and we'll just have to see. Yeah, it's like Graceful Charity, the TV Reporter, except you can only play 1 supporter card per turn, so like it's a hard once per turn shared across a class. It would be like saying you can't play any more spell cards for the rest of the turn, which is not how it works in Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously, so yeah. Right, let's take a look, see what's actually going on with it here. I'm pretty sure Matt's just like building his freaking deck again or something, right? No, he's not. Okay. So, unsurprisingly, we are going to just be seeing the Gardevoir stuff going on here. This is most of what we are going to be seeing this week. So it'll be interesting. It looks like Leo is playing the Furret version, so is Pepper actually, so that'll be interesting. And so is Matt over here. Well, alright then. Sai is playing his Magmortar Typhlosion thing. So he's got the Delcatty in there as well for it. Looks like Matt's playing... actually, no, Matt's playing a grass version, a grass deck here. He's just been like, yeah, everybody's going to be playing God of War that plays a ton of special energy. I'm going to play this, like, looks like Weavile Shuckle or something stupid. I don't know. It's kind of funny, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's a very Matt card to play, the Shuckle. For those who do not know what it does, it prevents all effects of attacks, including damage done to Shuckle by Pokemon that have special energy attached to them. Which, as you noticed in the God of War thing, I have like 7 of. So that is something to be careful of. But Shuckle immediately dies the second that you do anything else. And it also dies to any deck that's not playing special energy. Like Sai's deck is not playing a ton, he's just put a double rainbow down, so there will be some special energy to play. But not that many in the end. I think it is just like double rainbow, maybe? There might be a scramble, I think it's more just double rainbow, because obviously with Typhlosion, you can only accelerate basic fire. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing. Looks like Pepper's losing another wager here, unfortunately for him. Yeah, it's an interesting idea with the stuff. I think what I like about wager in God of War though is just the sheer fact that you've got so many ways around not drawing 6 with it. Even if you lose the wager, you still have plenty of options to do instead. So like he could Roseanne here still, based on what he's got here. Like that's the only card in his discard, but he can still do that. He's got double rainbow, so I guess he could attack if he wanted to. Put 30 on the Ralts or something maybe, but looking more likely he's just gonna use Roseanne's research with the psychic research attack there. So we have a Warp Point coming in on the other side. Yeah, so Gator has a really unfavorable matchup against Psychic Lock specifically, unless you can get set up early enough. Otherwise it's decent, I suppose. And looking at the other decks that are here, Feraligator's going to win out. So it literally just, it loses to Guardy, and Guardy was like the most popular deck of the time, so it's not that hard to see why it wouldn't have been more than a rogue deck. But it's going to beat the 2 decks on this left-hand side, so there is that. One thing to be careful of, I suppose, is that if Typhlosion does attack, it does discard a water energy that I have in play. But I don't think that's really too bad in the long run. So, yeah. It looks like Sai doesn't exactly have anything going on, unfortunately, but... So, once again, Matt's patented dual ball play here. I'm not gonna lie, it's a garbage card, but he seems to play it all the time, so I don't know. Really isn't very good, though. Yeah, so he's got this weird Psychic Grass Dark hybrid. I wonder what he's playing with the Psychic, then. Maybe he is just playing God of War, and maybe I would have like a worse matchup on it as a result. Seems kind of weird though, because that is a special Dark, I think, that's down, so maybe he is just doing that way. Very strange list for sure. Yeah, really not sure what to think on that one. Of course he's playing energy removal too. This is kind of just what I expect from Matt, though. He plays basically everything that isn't fun to play against. And yeah, his sole job in this, it seems, is to make everybody else miserable. And it's so frustrating. There have been a few times where I've just wanted to stop playing the game because of him, to be honest. And I've told him that as well, but obviously that's not going to change anything because this is just what he likes to play. So he has this ferret that he searched for before. Is 0 energy, search your deck for any 2 cards at the end of the turn, so... Baton Pass is also somewhat interesting. For 2 of any energy, you do 40 damage and then can choose to switch to the bench. And if you do, you can choose to swap any energy from the turret to the Pokemon you just switched in, which is kind of neat. Yeah, so far though, not exactly seeing too much that Sai would have to worry about here. If he could actually get started, there's a second special dark on the Sentret is weird. And yeah, we're just gonna see the Surge 2 here. Oh, it's search for up to, right? Yeah, so I guess he's still playing. I don't know why Sai's playing in his turn here, but oh, we're seeing the effect of another wager on the right hand side here. So Pepper is teching in the Muck, which is an interesting one. The Muck tech, you can't do that from the bench. I don't know if Sai's gonna get told with that there. I'm gonna tell him. Yo, just a quick heads up here, because I got caught by this in the middle of the week. You are not allowed to put that Magmortar level X down on the bench.
Oh yeah, only active.
I got caught out by that with the Guardi. You're not allowed to level up a Pokemon on the bench. It has to be active.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not know that.
To be fair, I got caught by this midweek as well, and it was just like, oh, we didn't catch it until like 5 turns later. But I just saw you do that, and I'm like, I need to step in real quick. Sorry.
Sorry.
Nah, you're good.
Right, as we were saying. So one other thing about this format is that the games generally go like crazy long as well, which isn't inherently like bad, obviously, but it kind of means that you gotta be sitting around for a while. Did he just switch for nothing there? I guess I've got to step in with that as well.
Beach?
Passes in addition to your normal supporter, yes.
Did I miss an energy paid to retreat there?
Oh
yeah.
Sorry, I'm incorrecting both games at this point. Don't worry about it. I'm just like, I just saw you swap and I was like,
my wager record is ridiculous.
I know. I've been seeing it there. Thing here. It's alright. Yeah, so trying to keep the game stable and stuff at the moment. Yeah, so Matt's basically just playing the anti-fun stuff with it here. He'll lose to, it looks like he'll lose to my Feraligatr deck though. So Feraligatr doesn't particularly care about almost anything that's going on his side right now. Yes, I do have Double Rainbow, but I don't usually end up attaching those too much anyway. Engine Removal 2 is annoying, but I recycle all my stuff that way anyway. He's not going to do enough damage output with a deck like this at the moment by the looks of it, and since he doesn't have Cessation Crystal, which looks like this deck would absolutely love to try and play, I don't really see... Right now, the curiosity is, what is that Psychic Energy for? It's probably for Mr. Mime. If I had to guess, that's like the only thing for it. He is literally... The only thing I haven't seen then that is like not fun to play against out of his side is Absol. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what's happened on their side then. Like, how did the Furret switch but didn't do damage? Curious, but I don't know. Oh, looks like wager going in Sai's favor. So he needs a fire energy, and it looks like he's not getting one because that's a good play. Yeah, with Crystal Beach there, it's not happening. Okay.
Sheesh.
Seems like a bit of bad luck on that one.
9 cards. I would have had to go 9 cards deeper to light the windstorm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got this off of Key 9. I was really banking on that paying off.
So, from what I have seen at the moment, this basically just looks like a typical Matt nobody is allowed to have fun deck.
Not
kind of
some stuff.
Basically the kind of deck that is actually making me not want to play this game anymore. But that's okay. Such is the way.
We'll get through it.
Yeah, I'll get through it, and then we'll be cancelling the series because of stuff like this. Honestly, it's very close to it with this week. This is not a fun week anyway, but this kind of thing is just, yeah, there's no win con of this either. It's just trying to make the opponent not want to play the game.
I'm surprised you're not enjoying the Gargi matches.
Well, we didn't really get to play the God of War matchup in the middle of the week anyway, but it's everything else is just like, no.
Yeah.
It's one card I am sure you have, but I didn't see within the thing there, which is making this week completely unfun. Would have been even worse if we didn't ban Cess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Cess kind of hits my deck pretty hard too, though.
Does it?
So, yeah.
I
mean, obviously, only against a deck that can play Cess. Like, obviously, that would be the only deck to play. But...
I don't know. It does seem like it currently is like, yeah, whatever. I know it can be irritating, but it doesn't look as if it's really actually hurting that much, to be honest. It's a lot of the powers I saw there just seem very incidental. But we'll see.
Yeah. Let's see.
This did win against Gardelade though, which is funny.
Yeah, I could see it.
Sai and Cal, did you guys want to play, or do you want me to play you, Cal?
You might as well actually show this off a bit more.
Okay.
Winner stays on and all.
Okay, sure.
I guess I'll move over then, yeah.
That kind of sucks, Sai. I feel like you should have won. I feel like your deck is, significantly favored here.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah. You lost a ton of coin flips, too. Just wager after wager. CR2.
Such is the way, isn't it, really? I should bring my other thing over as well for later. It's not
honestly a fun
now,
deck.
But... Yeah, it looks pretty interesting anyway. Right, let me do my thing and see what I get here.
I also never hit my Skitty Delcatty in any game.
Do have one. Okay, yep. And I'll take my one. I'll bench that as well.
Take it too.
Okay. Energy removal 2 just should not exist in the format, I'll just say that now. It's just such an unfun card. You want to put your prices down first?
Oh, sure. You want heads or tails?
Let's go for heads here. Alright. Alright, so let's have an interesting one off of this, hopefully. Right, not a ton off of that, which is fine. Where do we even put this then? Let's just attach to the Totodile. I'll pass turn at that. I don't think I'm in any immediate danger with that, so...
I'm gonna apologize, I may have to mute up. There's bands marching.
It's okay. Yep. You might not be actually looking at it unless it's just really not part of the early game plan. You might not actually be playing the card that makes this week unfun, but whatever.
Talking about Absol?
Yeah, it would perfectly fit into this by the looks of it too. Absol is just RNG bullshit. It makes it so that if the opponent is even slightly unlucky, they just don't get any setup at all, and they've already lost on turn 0. So
I don't think he's actually playing that.
no, I've not seen it yet, but we'll see. I could
be maybe okay in this deck. I don't think I would play it.
It looks like it's perfect for it, to be honest. But again, I haven't seen everything yet, so.
Yeah. Start.
Yep.
And
yeah, the Roseanne was for the 2 Pokemon, right? Just
Correct.
reminding myself here, yeah. Okay. We'll go. That makes things interesting. Okay, let's start with Croconaw, and we'll use Croconaw's power here. So, once during the turn when you evolve into it, look at the top 5 cards of the deck. All energy that you find there gets shown to the opponent and put into hand. And we find ourselves with 2. Next up, we're going to use Pokédex Handy. I'm just going to do it this way rather than thinking that because I often need to look at top 5 with Croc, so can't be bothered putting them each way around that way. We'll do that. That one can go on the bottom, if I could actually move my mouse properly. Yeah.
how did your Guardian Mirror go?
I haven't played one yet.
You're playing. Oh yeah.
I
So
haven't
you're
played
just
at all
doing,
yet
like,
today.
scripting.
Yeah, I haven't played at all yet today, and yeah, I've only even played Guardy once so far at the very end of stuff, and it was like, it got beat up by the Absol discarding like 3 supporters in the first couple of turns. So
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything with it. It was just Absol until Magmortar came down with stuff, and just, yeah, absolute misery. We're going to bench a Skitty. I'm going to rare candy it into Delcatty here, so I can discard one of these and draw 3. Well, it's interesting.
I made basically the most disgusting Absol deck I could since I saw you guys talking about it. As like a backup or try and mess around with it kind of thing.
It's just so annoying though, as a thing. It's just, it's... I don't know. It's like if we had Cess in the format still, Absol with Cessation would just be on fucking godly. But right, we'll see, Leah. Let's see what we can go for here. Yeah, and I mean, Honchkrow was the first thing I built with stuff this week, and I was kind of going to play that, but it just isn't quite there. Maybe part of it is because it doesn't have Cess now, which, you know, sounds funny, but you play Cess with the Absol start, right? So you're trying to stun the opponent whilst you get set up. But it also doesn't have the Palkia yet, so it doesn't have the Gusting stuff that it would have later on. So it's a bit awkward. I'm going to get another Totodile down here. His prizes look a bit sketch, but...
I also built Honchkrow, but figured I liked the other decks well enough, and then I could, save the Honchkrow for later, basically.
Yeah, I'm not sold on it, I'll be honest. It's not bad, but it just feels kind of not quite there somehow. I don't know. It's a strange one.
The output is quite low.
Yeah, that's what I think
don't
is
know.
what I think that's what gets me as well. Let's go
It's kind of-
ahead.
I'm kind of nostalgic for it. I was playing Honchkrow deck back in the day.
Yeah, I can
It was
understand
like a crappy build. But
Yeah, I can understand it, and I can kind of see where it's coming from. I'm just not convinced on it right now. I might as well just ram for 10 here. I don't really see a reason to switch out of this thing, so...
let's go Celio.
Yep. Sorry, I'm going to keep that in play just for prosperity here. It kind of does matter still half the time, so... Yep. You got the fire too, it's pretty good.
What to 2. What did you get off of your Celio? Is that the backup?
The Totodile, yeah. Yeah, I was. Sure. Yeah, I was thinking about getting the Magneton for the recycling side of things. I was like, nah, I can do without that for now.
Yeah, then we'll just Shadow Charge.
Sure.
2 to 3. Oh, I am playing that. That's great.
Okay.
Hard in here. That would have been awesome in my last game, but I forgot I hadn't cut.
Okay, let's see. What do we want to do? Let's start with a second Crocodile here. So we'll do the same power again. This time just the 1. Which is fine. We'll play a second Pokedex here. I can do shift for it, right? Yeah, so it's that, and that one can go bottom. So we'll bench another Skitty here. Just thinking what I actually want to hit, because I do have the Gator.
Nice.
I'm going to... it's awkward because I really don't want to do that one. Let's TV Reporter. It's probably the best bet for this. I see.
Is this in your hand?
Yeah, it's in hand at the moment. I'm
Okay.
not sure if I wanted to attach it or like discard it for stuff yet. So
Yeah,
I was like keeping it around for. So if we do that like that. Do that into. We'll discard another Magnemite here, I think. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll use Energy Draw. I'll draw 3. That's pretty good. Magneton. Just realizing that does do it. We will discard 1 water, get the other 2 because there is another 1 in here. Bring that to the top. So discard 1, get the 2 that were already in there back into hand. We will go ahead and attach and go 1, 2, 3, and 4 for Energy Cyclone to do 80. Needs to get shuffled back in. Okay, go for it.
Go, Celio.
Yep. I suppose it doesn't technically matter at this point, but just so you don't accidentally play another one by mistake.
Oh, yeah. Cecil. And... I think we can play Mime Junior.
Yeah, that's what the Psychic Energy is for, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I figured.
And full Baton Pass for 40.
Yep.
Into 40. Too low. We'll go for insufficient energy. We'll go into the Mind Junior.
Okay. And I'm assuming no transfer of energy, because that would be silly right now. Right, we will draw... second Delcatty. We'll energy draw for 3. Okay, what's best bet here? Let's TV Reporter. It's probably the next best one. That, discard Delcatty. Don't exactly need another one of those right now. So I have the 2 in there at the moment. It's probably fine. We will energy draw again with the second cat, so that's all of my powers except Magneton used now, which Magneton can come down here as well. Let's get rid of Steven here so I can get 2 waltzes back. So 1 there, 1 into hand. This might as well get attached. I do have a second Gator, and we will Breaking Tail for 60 and discard a card out of your hand. So let's go for that.
Yeah. Baton Pass.
Yep. So that's up at 80 now. We will draw. Yeah, this deck is like great if you don't exactly hit Psychic Lock every single turn, I think. That's the main bit I've been finding with it. Otherwise it seems
super soft.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't think this was actually going to be that good, I'll be honest, because it didn't seem like it was going to come together that well, but I guess it's fine. Roseanne, we'll just grab 2 water with that. So, shuffle that, 1 to the Gator. I'm trying to think if I actually even want to draw further into the deck at the moment here. It doesn't seem like it's that necessary. No, let's just Breaking Tail. We'll knock out the Shockle, get the thing out.
Alright, Baton Pass.
Yep. So, yeah, this does have 130, so, okay. Oh, that's not what I pressed! Damn it! I was hovering, I try and mouse over the thing so I can just do the, like, change the number on it, right? And it's just like, no, actually, you were apparently just off and on the card instead. Whoops. Whatever. Let's go Celio. Grab ourselves Totodile. So we'll go Dial, Candy Gator, attach 1, and might as well Breaking Tail, yeah. Do I have enough energy to discard for this one? No, I've got 1, it's not worth it. Okay.
Ooh.
Yep. So the 1.
Grab a... Mime to bench.
Yep, seems good.
On pass.
Yep, so gets the knockout. Any energy moving?
No.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. Draw. Plusle. As you've seen this one before, so we know what that will do. We will Warp Point as well here. Yeah. So because Gator was knocked out last turn, Plusle can get 2 basic energy out of the discard. So we'll just straight do that. 1 to there. Thinking on the other stuff with it. Let's discard Magneton for Magneton to get the other 2 out.
I'll concede there. I mean, you
Yeah,
can play
okay.
your turn. If
Yeah,
you feel like
that's
it.
fair. No, it's okay. I have 4 energy in the hand as well with it, so I was just gonna go ahead and cyclone. Yeah, cyclone the 3 back, but it's like, yeah, I already had the stuff with it. Yeah, turns out if this actually gets to use its powers, it's kind of insane, but unfortunately there's this big thing called Psychic Lock in the format that kills this if it gets up early enough. So, I don't know if it's a good deck per se, but I wanted something that wasn't Gardevoir, and this was the only thing that I built that was even remotely, like, I feel it's passable. You know, because I built like a Typhlosion Lugia thing that just wasn't particularly good. I built a couple of Weavile based things, wasn't too happy with them, and Honchkrow, like you came to the conclusion yourself, just didn't quite feel there, so I just didn't play it. I was like, nah, maybe next time, but nah.
It's a super neat effect. I was kind of thinking about it, and it's almost like a hit and run deck because it's energy preservation essentially, right? But instead of hitting with the energy and then retreating, you just don't have to do the switch part.
Yeah.
So, in that way, it's kind of good.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, hey, we played
whether you want the higher damage off of Burret or Lopunny or something, or if you want the hard destruction off of the or Darkwing Flaps or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried for it, like I said, with the Gardevoir deck, and it would have been fine. It's just that goddamn Absol stripping all of my stuff immediately. It was just like, search 2 cards out of the deck. Doesn't do anything when you have no cards in hand already, and Absol is just taking one every turn. You can't even afford to take a single trainer card out of the deck at that point, because Absol, if it hits it out of 50-50, takes your other card as well, and it's just like, it's functionally pointless.
This is also what I was using wagers to counter. Oh hey, you now have 3 cards that you wanted in your hand. No you don't.
Yeah, wager's really cool, and especially like in the Guardy deck as well. I do have that around to play with here as well. I'm playing probably a different-ish version from the stuff here. Like I say, I tried the Furret, it was fine. I see there's a muck on Pepper's side of the stuff here. I don't have that in the deck at the moment. I can see why you'd use it, it's just I didn't include it. I included Milotic in mine actually as a 1/1, because it's like, okay, if you just like one of the tricks that Pepper did with the with that Absol Magmortar thing was just he only played Bebe Search. He was holding on to like 3 supporters in hand, and just all he was doing was just discarding my stuff every turn. He wasn't even doing anything, right? So I couldn't get going properly because he only had Bebe Search in his discard, so I couldn't draw cards. And because of Absol, I couldn't search for anything that would get me out of the stuff there. Like, I couldn't even reliably search energy to attach, because I'd have to search 2 at a time and he would discard 1 of them, right? So I couldn't even do that, which was really annoying. But the way around that, because he had Bebes there, would be to establish Milotic on the bench and use his supporters from the hand. So I was like, alright, if you're going to do that sort of bit to it, just like try and stop me from playing the game by not having a hand, etc., I'm going to use your hand as well for this stuff. So, plus, 3 supporter cards in a turn sounds fair and balanced, right? One from their hand, 1 from their discard, and 1 for your turn. Seems fair, right?
How would you like to wager 3 times in 1 turn?
I'd fail every single one of them.
Yeah.
But no, that's the
man.
thing. Like, wager is so good in the Gardevoir deck, though, because you often don't even care if you win or lose the wager, because you can telepass, right? So it's like, even if you only draw 3 off of it, you can still use the opponent's supporters in the discard after you wager. So you don't really care, Yeah, but this was about it. This was about the only thing I could come up with that was remotely fun at all in this one to bingy. And it dies if you have some sort of way of stopping its powers, but what else are you gonna do? I did also try Gallade Pidgeot actually, because obviously we don't have the Cess, but Delta Pidgeot can still be a ability lock, right? So just using Gallade by itself was pretty reasonable. But Yeah, I don't know. It was fine, but I wouldn't call it fun per se. But that could be said for a lot of the stuff this time, I guess. It's funny because, like, yeah, we were talking about this midweek, as you've alluded to as well. It's hard sometimes to actually see what the nostalgia people see in this format at this point. Because, yeah, there are really cool things that you can do, but it seems like there is so much toxicity in some of the cards of this format that just weren't historically played as much. And I don't really know why they weren't historically played as much. I just know that they weren't, and it just, like, yeah, it's making this really hard to enjoy right now, which is a shame.
Yeah.
It's not even because of the constructed aspect either, it's because, you know, somebody would have just drawn into 3 of the Absol or whatever and it'd be just as fine. It's just a combination of everything that's under the surface of it, I think. If you just...
I think part of it is, I think either you or DMA mentioned, but the fact that it's like best of 1 and not in a prolonged tournament, I think it's too easy to miss, you know, the strong, you can't play the game thing with Absol and similar cards. Like Wager, I think Wager probably ends games a lot, and that's in every deck, so there's really nothing you can say about that except play ability Pokemon. You don't get Wagered before you're set up, but yeah, that's what I think is kind of what held Absol back. Hazard decks.
I think there's a combination of that and just if you don't hit the supporter out of the opponent's hand, right? If they just get lucky enough to keep the card that's relevant with it here. But that was like never the case for me. It was just American Sniper, I guess, of Pepper just hitting the trainer every single time. And it's just annoying because then you get another card out of the hand as well, and it's like, it's even for a colorless, so it's splashable everywhere. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I think Absol, if it goes first, has pretty poor odds of hitting enough to be like a game ender. If you go second, you have good odds of being able to at least promote it, attack with it. But then your opponent's kind of already gotten a turn, but then, you know, maybe they've thinned their hand down to 3 cards and the last 3 contain a supporter and an item. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and the thing is, it can hit any kind of trainer. It's like trainer, supporter, or stadium, and then it discards a second card. So it doesn't even have to specifically hit their supporter first. If you hit their item, like say your dual ball or something, and you get to discard another card, and maybe that's the one that discards the Celio or something, you know. Or as you say, that maybe they just played the hand down a little bit. Unlikely on the first turn, but even then, the other side of it is if you don't discard a trainer or something, you might have just discarded like their stage 2 or something. And that's not easy to recover from either a lot of the time. Maybe there's an experience issue with this as well, of not knowing as much how to play around this thing, but this isn't the first time we've had this kind of attack. It's just the most devastating one of the kind we've had, right? We've had a few cards like Zubat, and I think Poochyena had it as well, where Surprise was a thing. So you just discard a random card out the opponent's hand. There's the Mischievous in the last set has Astonish, which, not the last set, the first set of Diamond Pearl. So it's like, it's not as if we haven't had this before, but this is the first one that generally discards 2 cards every time it uses it, and that's rough, you know? Like I said, maybe I'm just not experienced enough against him. It's just been horrendous most of the time to go against. This deck was one of the few things that might have been able to survive against it, because if you don't get your Croconaw discarded, then you're able to basically go Bite or Shining Fang into the Hover over the next turn, stops them retreating, and you're doing perfect 70 numbers over 3 turns to take them out. So... And of course the Croconaw can then get its own energy with Evolutionary Vitality, so it's not as if you have to keep an energy in hand out of their discarding stuff. So it's like this kind of was able to thing it, but only if you didn't get this thing discarded. I don't know.
Did either of you want to play a game against me or each other?
Well, the only other thing I even have that's remotely setup at the moment is the Guardi, which I have seen your deck is exceptionally well decked against, just because like everything deals with that, right? So not surprising, because that is the main idea of this found, right?
Yeah, pretty well teched for Guardi. I also have Guardi, so if you want to play a mirror match, we can do that. If Sai has another deck or wants to run back Mortar versus something.
I don't have another deck for this. It would just be a copy
Oh,
paste
yeah.
guard-delayed list at this point.
I mean, if you want to show the Magmortar Sai, I am willing to play the Guardi stuff against it. Obviously, I wouldn't play for Alligator against it, because that's a not very favorable matchup.
The only way I'm winning that matchup is turn 1 Typhlosion after I sacrifice a Magmar, just so I can start draining your water.
Yeah, but this deck's got
even then-
so much recovery for that, it's not even gonna matter, you know?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I'm fine with playing Guardi against this if you want to show this off, because we haven't shown Magmortar much outside of like Pepper's Absol BSing, so because it looks like these two are going to be going for years over this side with the Guardi mirrors.
Yeah.
I'm
4/4.
gonna need you to swap color, Matt.
Oh, sure. Let's see.
I probably could have moved over or something as well, but
That's fine.
I'll play some test hands with my Absol list.
sure.
I built it, but didn't get to play it.
Okay, I do have a starter here. Alrighty, what would you like?
Let's go ahead.
No. Okay. Well, fair enough. Let's see what we could do then. I will simply attach and I'll smack for 10. I think it's potentially relevant here.
There.
It's like I could maybe try and stop you from attacking, but it's got 60 HP. That's...
Say those network.
Yep.
Here's the question. Where do I want to go with this?
Yeah, it's a good question at the moment. Yeah, I also don't have a ton of experience playing with this deck at the moment, because again, we only played what was effectively half a game in midweek just because of the way the Absol deleted me. And I've done a little bit of solo testing stuff for the last like day just to try and mostly get that for Alligator build, not this one as much, but I've tried a little bit with this.
Alright, I think I'm gonna have to do this, unfortunately.
Oh, that is very spicy. I think you're correct to do this, actually, looking at it. Because there is a very distinct chance that otherwise it might have gone down.
Pass.
Okay, 2 cards in hand. Alright, let's see what we can do. Yeah, you were right on the money to play this, because I have Rare Candy Gardevoir. I have a double rainbow of my own, which I think I still need to play here, despite the fact that it's probably going to get discarded. It's just the more relevant option. I will use the Telepass to copy your Celio. It's interesting. Let's go ahead and grab this route.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that was super heads up though, because if you didn't do that, that's what I was setting up the 10 for. It was like, it's better just to get it out. Right, regular supporter for turn is going to be Steven.
Yep.
To do that. And then we will Psychic Lock for 50, because I do have double rainbow on, so...
Wait.
Yeah, so it's 60 total that you're up at right now.
TV reporter.
Yep. So no fire started this turn.
You're funny, game.
Ah, yes.
But you also gave me what I needed.
Oh, okay. So
And we will Evaporating Blast to get rid of the
Yep.
DRE.
this will also do 50, but because this is being treated as every energy, it is counted as a water as well, so we will lose that, unfortunately.
Obviously, this is not an ideal energy setup for this.
No,
but, you know,
and it's still not particularly ideal for you in general here, I don't think either. This thing is only 110 max HP, so we're going to evolve here. I'm going to Celio. I might actually want to Celio with yours as well here, but I will grab the level X. Yeah, and I think I might as well use your Celio. No, do I want your Celio or do I want your TV recorder? No, I think I will just take the Celio, but I'm gonna grab Tauros with that, using the Telepass, obviously. So with this inactive, we will be able to level that up. I think I'll keep this in hand at the moment, actually. Attach a Psychic and bring down to knock out the Typhlosion, because it's the lowest HP, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I had Gallade in hand as well, so it's just like, yeah.
I needed to hit a Magmortar to even be in the game, and it just wasn't.
Prize would have been this one, because of the way I take them. Yeah,
Maybe I should have let the Typh go down.
maybe, but that's still rough, though. I mean, what would you have done? Would you have, like, picked up another...
Scramble Energy would have been online.
Would you have picked up another Cyndaquil with, like, Celio or something? I'm just trying to think where you'd have gone if you were letting the Cyndaquil go down at the start. Would that have been... Would that have been able to do that?
I
Like,
don't know.
because I don't know what the rest of your hand was like, but it's like, if you let the first one go down, would you have been able to candy for the second one to get it going, you know? Okay, we do have a thing. Not sure if I'm too pleased with it, but we'll see.
Heads or tails?
Oh, yeah.
I'll go heads.
Okay, let's flip that then. No, apparently not. Alright, well, it's not great, but I do have a Psychic Energy, and I will Hypnosis because that's all I can actually do here. So, let's see what the flip goes. How the flip goes for you. Yep, you are awake. Yeah. Okay.
Celio's Network.
Yep.
Grabbing cat probably makes sense.
Fair enough.
Touch Fire Energy and Flare for the 20.
Yep. Alright, we'll draw. It's not pretty, but it will have to do. Absol. We'll pay retreat, we'll go to the Absol, and I
Damn.
will go ahead and use Baleful Wind here.
Do you have to see the hand, or do you choose?
No, I choose without looking. So,
Alright, go ahead.
you want to shuffle it up, or you want to just...
Uh,
I'll just rip it if you want, I don't mind. It's
just rip it.
Okay, that one. Oh, that's not where it goes.
Ow.
Alright. So yeah, no second card discarded because it wasn't a trainer type, but that's still pretty good for me. Go ahead. I'm not thrilled about it either, if I'm being honest with you, but...
Celio's Network.
Yep. At least I didn't get rid of that. That would have been worse.
No, but it's still not good.
No,
I need to
because...
make it better.
Yeah, I guess now you probably, maybe, got to Celio for the thing. I don't know if you have to.
That is annoying.
I hate it when that gets in the way. Freaking pricing. God, it is so misty outside now. It's crazy. You'd think I'd be living next to the SDM of how misty this this place is right now. Ah, yes. There we go. Yep.
Problem is, I now have to deal with a 1/3 chance of you just screwing me.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Flame Blast.
For the 40. Alright. Let's see what we can do. Well, I can't draw worth shit, so, you know, whatever. I guess I have to do it this way. We're going to Rare Candy Gallade, put a Scramble Energy on it, and I'm going to have to just hit the Baleful Wind again here.
Go ahead.
And...
Blue stuff.
oh my
No.
god. Oh
No.
my god, yeah. I couldn't draw worth shit, but, like, the Absol saved the ass here. Two
like
Roseanne prized and a Stevens. No wonder I couldn't draw worth shit.
You killed my only Delcatty.
Mm-hmm. I know.
That would have been a good start too.
Yeah, not happy with the way that had to go, honestly, but this is why I am like, as much as I love you, Absol, you're a great Pokemon, but oh my god, I hate this card. No, Absol is one of my favorite Pokemon, so this hurts even more than you would imagine, because it's so fucking cool as a Pokemon, but oh my god, I hate this card. Yeah, I know this isn't a particularly long one as far as like stuff goes, probably the shortest we've had on things here. I'm kind of already done when it comes to games in this format, I'll be honest. I don't have another deck that I'm even happy with it here, and yeah, maybe we could play Guardy stuff, that'd be fine, but like...
I just came out of a long Guardian Mirror,
exactly.
so...
I'm already done when it comes to the stuff with this, I'll be honest. Yeah, so some differences...
I kinda don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, it's rough. Some differences with the stuff, I didn't end up playing the Jirachi, I probably should be, but I just didn't have the space when I was getting this lot in. Yeah, a little bit teched out on the stuff here. There's a good enough reason, it's called Roseanne, but the thing is, after the game, the last game that we played on Wednesday, I kind of realized one thing I probably should do here is try and make sure that I can not have a situation where the opponent just is refusing to interact and just discarding all my stuff. So I elected to play the Milotic in here as well, because it's like, if you're refusing to interact and not give me stuff that Telepaths can do, it's probably because your supporters are in the hand, so Milotic can come down and get me going anyway. And it's like, that was probably the biggest quote-unquote innovation with the stuff here. And I noticed the Feedbacks can search for evolutions, right? So with Roseanne being such a good starter anyway, it's like if I open Feedbass Roseanne, I search for that water energy, I get the evolutions, and it's totally fine. Is it good? Probably not, but if I'm playing Milotic anyway, I might as well like account for it, because you don't always need a bunch of non-psychic energy. Like, you need a few colorless within some of these costs. So I was okay playing a couple of tech energy in here. If I'm playing the Absol build, because this Absol is stupid as hell, I might as well tech the one dark energy in case raid actually comes up, because there will be times where you're like 30-40 short of getting a KO, and yeah, you could just raid and get it that way, and it's fine. I initially was playing Weavile instead of this one for the stuff. I had like that instead of Night Maintenance, the Milo and whatnot. I didn't like it as much. Maybe because the energy was a bit off balance, because you needed so many special energy still here that I could only really fit the 4 special dark in, and that just didn't feel worth it for a 2-2 Weavile. But yeah, maybe with more like testing, I could do stuff with it. Honestly, no, I don't know. I was just like, before it didn't really work, let's try something else with it here, and so yeah, Absol seems to just be ridiculous for all sorts here, so...
Laura had definitely one problem with this fucker.
Yeah, wager is another thing, and I kept the wager count high in here because it's literally, if you have a Gardevoir in play, who cares about the opponent, whether they win or lose on this? If you only get 3, that's fine, you can still telepass after wager, and you can still do it that way. So like, yeah, wager even without Claydol makes complete sense in here. yeah, other than that, that was my effort on it in the end. Taurus was a last second thing because it's like, do I put Taurus or do I put Statler? And I was like, I'm putting Taurus because I can at least like discard Crystal Beach if it comes in play with Taurus. So I was thinking that's fine. It gives me effectively a third answer to it, right? So
Like my thinking with this energy layout is, do you put in Holons?
I was very
PL?
tempted. If this wasn't quite so high, I probably would. Maybe I could instead of like one scramble or something. Put in like a whole on or something here.
Make like -1 or 2 basic purple because the deck doesn't need. You got Rogue's Hands basically.
Yeah, I was going back and forth on the count here a lot. As you see, I'm playing like more energy than expected in the stuff here, just because I figured in the end that it was going to be better off if I could just get my Baleful Wind at the start, right? And with 7 energy that aren't attachable turn 1, I wanted to make sure I had enough. So I was like, this seems solid. And honestly it is. I don't know too much. I would want the Jirachi EX in, but other than that I don't know what else I'd even change in here, to be honest, with this particular round. It seems reasonable. I was half thinking Castaway in here as well at some point, up the Strength Charm count, but I just couldn't find the space, you know.
That's probably better set if you're running Cess, which this build could if it was legal.
Yeah, it probably could. And then there's this asshole who is like, Psychic Lock me or die. You know? This doesn't pair too well into the Guardy stuff, I will be honest, but it's all good because it's like everything else which I was expecting, basically Guardy and non-Guardy, is almost separate entity plays here. I was like, everything else this is pretty solid into, I think, because it's like, it does have a very good damage number for the energy you put in, especially if you DRE it. So it's like 1 energy, potentially 70 or something is pretty respectable. It's big, it's got the stupid discard bullshit to it as well, and you've got inbuilt energy finding with Crocodile. I actually even like loaded up on less Red Candy and stuff because I was like, you can just play the Crocodile because it fuels your engine anyway, and it's really good. The only thing I wish I could do is put more Pokedexes in, because I had 4 initially, but I needed more energy. 17 is pushing it on the low end of what I'd want in here, so...
I would say, is there room for Absol in this? But
I wish. Anyway, yeah, you're being asked if you want a game of stuff. I don't know if you want to just real briefly go over your little tech stuff, because you've got one tech different, right?
Yeah, I've got a few tech different. The Muck, it got KO for me because 2 poison ticks on the Gardevoir and Psychic Block KOs.
Yep.
It's very relevant. It's also just really annoying in general. Shuts down Telepass, makes numbers. It just sits there and is good. Yep. So it's a bit bad into just Noir. I've noticed that just don't overbench down. That's not a problem.
Yep.
I went for the 1/1 stadiums, split the stadiums, so I wanted to both have Lake Boundary and be able to bump it. And at the same time, I also ran 2 Tauros to both buff my league game and to be more beach chances, because I expected large beach counts from the non-Guardy decks.
Yep, which, spoilers, is accurate with Matt's deck.
The rest, I went one DF route to the 3 regular.
Yeah, that's probably the correct thing with it. I played the 2-2 because I will admit the initial Gardevoir Ferret list that I was getting off of the, what was it, Top Cut events, or whichever one it was, the last one you showed me, played a 2-2 split, and I did not do enough testing to see whether that was better or not, but I liked the idea of it, so yeah. Because I liked the goal of a 1 energy 60 in the mirror, and yeah, it's even if you do get knocked out after, it's like, yeah, 1 energy 60 is pretty respectable in the mirror matchup, and it can also do decently enough into other things. If a Magmar got overloaded, it could do a lot to that, as an example for the other match we played today. And yeah, it's just like, it's not awful. It's not as good as this one, but you know, it's not awful, so I was okay with it.
3-3 forward line. I've seen numbers of these go up and down in the various articles I'm looking at about this format, but 3 feels right to me. Is you want it early, but you can't afford the 4/4 space wise.
I think
pushing in
sorry.
the rest of your stuff.
Yeah.
You need text as well.
I think I played 3-2 with the Standler as the sixth bit there, because I was like, yeah, you do want it, but there's also enough like searching for the stuff that way, so I didn't. And when you're stealing the opponent's search, didn't really feel like it was gonna be that bad to play 2. But I could easily see 3-3 is probably better. But you know,
any amount of them are just going to be sitting there end game, but then again, though, Leo did have a good opportunity to keen eye towards the end of the game when he was otherwise out of energy, so
yeah,
there is some merit to it then. There's also a line I was looking at potentially using for bound pass and secure a KO, but Luck meant I didn't need it.
Yeah.
Luck is just good.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a good card in general for it. I know it got replaced by Claydol next set most of the time, but a couple of people still played it clearly. So
I heard it was actually pretty close between the two, but Claydol had a slight edge.
Right.
I've got a game I should be getting to.
You should. Just before we do, though, we should probably look at, if we are going to hit stuff this week, we should probably look at that beforehand, just so we can close this up
Sure.
before you do. Right? Because, yeah, obviously Guardy is going to get hit. Gallade is a separate deck. I don't know if you would want that still to be around, or if it's whatever.
My backup deck actually has Gallade in it solo. I'm not probably going to play it today by the sound of it, so I'll just bring it out for...
Yeah, clearly Gator is done. Out of size, I mean, we know that Leo just played Guardy stuff as well, right? So
this is my backup deck for the week.
Yes.
Have you guys seen enough of Magmortar yet?
Well, you see, so the one thing is that Magmortar ended up getting played with a Leafeon level X in the next set, right? And Leafeon level X can stand without Magmortar. It's got plenty of other partners, but that was, I think, the premier way that card would get played. So I would leave it up to you guys, I guess, if you would want to see that, or maybe just hit Typhlosion instead, just to, you know, if you want to hit something.
I just don't like the feeling of hitting the accelerator, because I don't like hitting accelerators in general.
I mean, yeah,
there is also the MD format, the Worlds format, where the Leafeon could show up with the Magmortar.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hit it, I don't mind if it's just, if you don't want to see it, that's still fine with me. Because I think I know what Pika wants me to play next week, and I know what I want to play next week. I think they are diametrically opposed anyway, so, I have stuff that I already want to build. So, that's fine with me. And then, fuck, I don't even know what we would hit out of yours, Matt, to be honest. It's just a bunch of nonsense.
I probably shouldn't look for
okay,
it.
While we're here, Absol.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that I would also, like, as much as I love the Pokemon, fuck this card. It is just so stupid. I would much rather... Oh my god, that is a Cordelia over here. Oh shit.
Yeah, I think Absol should go.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna oppose people on that.
Certainly not. If it's not quite on the same level as like Cess in terms of like overpowering, but oh my god, it's not fun to play against, and that's been a big.
It just
hurt,
destroys the early game.
If you get lucky with it, that's it, and yeah.
There's no skill to it.
No.
I was thinking about other darkness fuel like things to play around with Weavile, but I don't think this can come up.
I'm not necessarily. One of the things I'm not sure should go is the Murkrow. Murkrow wasn't played, so
no, Honchkrow definitely shouldn't go at the moment. We tested it and found it wasn't good enough this week, so we need more of the cards to come out before it becomes even
needs
playable.
more data.
Yeah.
Of course, we are going to get a pretty big nerf with the Absol removal.
Yeah. Yeah, Weavile is weird, isn't it?
I'm against Forest Weavile because I consider them to be enablers rather than the main threats of the deck. Weavile, Forest especially, that's definitely a consistency card.
I think Forest more than Weavile is definitely a consideration for should stay. Magmortar, yeah, I mean, if you want to hit it, I'm fine with that, because
I don't
we
have a
will
problem
see
with
it.
it. I think I tried giving it the best showing I could.
We'll probably see Leafeon when it comes to the Majestic Dawn set anyway, if we're going to see it, and I think that's fine. Leafeon's got like a dozen other things you can play it with, so that's fine in its own right. Yeah, Weavile, I don't know.
I'll put my case for it being generic acceleration. The obvious intention, because it needs no energy and thus no colours to shadow charge, and it makes things dark for the special darks to work regardless of the deck it's in. I think it's designed to be a generic card that fits in and accelerates several different decks.
I could see it. Again, honestly, I'll defer, because it's like, if you guys are already tired of seeing it during the midweek and this bit here, fine. If not, and you want to keep it in, also fine. I'm not fussed.
I'd say we keep an eye on the Weavile, and if it starts to go too long, then we consider it again. Just keep an eye on it.
I
And
just had
then-
anything I think would even easily be ban-worthy, but I would personally vote the same here, no for it, no Weavile.
Yeah, See, I don't know, because like when it comes to these, like, they are irritating, but they also just don't do anything. I noticed a lot of the decks that obviously, unfortunately, not the ones that were shown, but even then, like here, obviously there's 4. A lot of the decks that were getting built midweek had like 3+ wall points in them, so like these wouldn't even necessarily be the hard solid stops at that point. Most decks that are good are gonna be able to play around these, right? Because special energy, yeah, that's really good, but you don't have to put them on all the time. And Mr. Mime, you just need to put free energy on, which most attackers do attack for free anyway. So it's more of a deterrent against the scramble stuff, right? Which is probably not a bad thing to have around, considering Scramble and Double Rainbow are starting to look a little bit less balanced in this format, aren't they?
I don't. Yeah, they are really, really good around now. It's because before they were balanced out by EXs existing and being really good without them.
Yep.
But now everything uses them because there's no BEXs anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, wager. I'm gonna say no. I think honestly, I think this is too.
As much as I hate the card, I have
Listen,
to
I'm
agree,
sorry.
It is a stapleish card. It's okay. It's not your fault. Don't blame what's basically the coin flipper hating my guts.
I think it's too integral to the format at large, and the fact of Claydol next set means that you have recover ability against this card. I don't think this needs to be hit. I think it's supported to too many different decks going forward.
It's not even specific decks, it's the flow of the format. It's the answer to people overloading their hands.
This is also true, yes. Yeah.
I think if we got rid of Wager, we'd have to have a stronger look at stuff like Furret.
Yeah.
It gets a lot stronger in a wagerless environment. Also, the point where it might actually compete with Claydol.
Yeah, it could do.
So I guess the lack of success probably bumps Claydol up enough that it doesn't actually go over. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, of the more limited stuff that we're seeing this time, definitely here. And honestly, I'm fine without the things off of this. Like, yeah, they're annoying. You could make an argument for them. I'm not fussed if people want to keep them in.
I haven't seen the deck with these in, so I'm not gonna have an opinion yet.
You're just about to.
I know. I am.
Technically, you have seen the Mr. Mime though, because I did play that with the Gyarados thing, right? But obviously, Shuckle wasn't out at that time, so. No, I think it's okay though. Like even in my Guardy list that has like 7, and I'm not the most extreme here, but even in my Guardy list it's got 7 special energy on the thing. I ain't worried about that Shuckle because it dies in 1 hit to Psychic Lock, right? So like even this week as an anti-Guardy thing, I think it does a pretty poor job of that. So
it looks like it slowed me down, but not really stopped me.
Yeah. Maybe with energy removal that's going to be a pain, but that again is lot based and therefore isn't.
And I'm actually running a night maintenance, so
yeah.
Which not all Guardy lists did apparently.
I actually had 2 because I was like, I fear God on this one, I guess. I don't know. just did not feel great. Anyway, I'll leave you guys to your game then. I think
That
that's...
is also another card we could be looking at
What's
and
that?
seeing if needs banned.
What's that?
ER2.
I think that's another is technically a staple kind of territory. Even
As
I'm
much
going to
as
say-
I hate it.
same category as Wage, I'm afraid.
As much as I hate it, it's... staple is not something I would like to admit, but... yeah.
I'm just gonna...
Yeah, just
Same,
let's just build this pile up over here with this stuff,
Stay away
right?
from those things, bro.
Yeah.
They're a bad influence.
It's a weight bearing card, unfortunately.
It's...
Can't touch it.
I think the...
Pile will collapse.
So if we're looking at the debate on Crystal Beach, I would say the reason I didn't even look at this last time round was alongside Cess is because there's a searchable answer in Taurus, right? Where Taurus is a good card in general as well that you could just use to out this as well as Windstorm or just using your own stadium. This, I think, was a lot more balanced at that time. And it's also a potential stop check to Double Rainbow and Scramble getting out of hand, which is, I think, more of an important pillar.
Concern.
Yeah, I think that's more of an important pillar than, could potentially give credit for.
It's also, removing it would also change a lot of deck building, as stadiums basically lose all value at that point, unless you're scared of lake boundary. And there's also Scott as well, as another way of searching out counter stadiums if you're desperate, but that kind of goes both ways, so...
Next set has got a couple of stadium cards anyway, right? So...
when's Moonlight? 'Cause that's the one I was
that
looking at.
should be the next set, because Darkrai and Cresselia is in the next one, right?
Right.
So that
Yeah, 'cause
should
I was
be...
looking at... That was... Because this set, it was the one you'd want to use with Dark Engage, but... I noticed Sydney's and found a combo, because Dark Engage does not mention special conditions in its limitations.
No, it did not, which is weird. So yeah, if you got confused or something, you could turn it into a Dark type and Sydney cures it straight away. Yeah.
Or that's whatever your active is.
Yeah, although that doesn't matter for them Weavile at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's specifically if Weavile is affected, which
Right,
can
yeah.
only be in the active, so...
But yeah, it's basically a full heal engine at that point as well.
Yeah,
I
which
thought
is
it was
cool.
neat to try.
It's a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
Given the low variety of stuff that was even played this week, I think it's a reasonable enough thing to only have, like, a few hits on it this time round. Yeah, it almost seems kind of weird, because I know your deck, Matt, is playing all of the stuff that's on this side and therefore not getting touched, but honestly... I don't know, I don't think that's really that much of a problem, all things considered. Because, yeah, I do kind of agree. I think Weavile is probably... It's on the borderline because Chip-Off is, like, really good as well. I think that's an underrated part of this card, but if you're attacking with Weavile quite often, that's not a good spot to find yourself in. So... I'm not really too fussed about it as an attacker, and if we're apparently dead set against hitting most of the engine-based stuff, then it's probably not going to get hit otherwise, so I think it's fine at the moment.
it has to be a pretty strong argument for me to want to hit something that an enabler like this.
Yeah, Chip-Off is really that argument though, because with its own power it turns into a 60 damaging, which...
If someone showed me a deck which used Weavile as a main attacker as well as an acceleration tool, I would be I'd be thinking about it for sure.
Consider Darkrai next set then. That might be the thing, but then that's next set, so then we could just hit it then if it has to be.
Yeah, give it a chance. That sounds kind of cool.
Genuinely does. As for the record for you, Matt, Darkrai turns all basic dark energy into special darks, basically. Without the special tag, yeah, as you probably already know, but it's just like, yeah, that with Weavile actually sounds kind of neat, so... Yeah. So even if we did hit it, I would make an argument for playing it based on that. So, it would be busy work. So let's just not hit it. Speaking on stuff that way, I would like Garchomp back next week, potentially, because I might build it with Togekiss.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, because...
Togekiss is its time to shine, and that comes out next set, so...
Works for me.
Okay. Right, that's about it, I think, on my end. So I'll let you guys
Get some ice cream.
I'll let you guys do that and also get to your game and stuff. I might just sit and watch it, to be honest, because I think that'd probably be the best bet here. Because yeah, I know I only played 2, but I am out on this one. This format was not fun enough for me to play more on. So I'll let you guys get to